So thank you everyone for being here today with us. This is the Let's Plan Your Move to Canvas training. I'm your host, Marta Lopez from the Department of Information Technology at Texas A&M University, Galveston. So our agenda today will cover some training resources that I want you to know. Also, we are going to learn how to migrate content from eCampus to Canvas, how to migrate and upload multimedia and large files in Canvas courses, also how to clean up and organize your Canvas course after the migration of content, and some optional, very quick topics on how to merge course sections in Canvas and how to add additional roles to Canvas courses. So let's get started. Some of the training resources that we have for you today will be available in this presentation. We are going to share the presentation and the recording after the training. And the first one is a web page that is from the Academic Innovation Department in College Station. They have the lms.tamu.edu, and in the Make the Move section, you will have some information about how to export from eCampus to Canvas. So all the information that we are going to cover today, they have it there documented in case that you want to reinforce your knowledge after this training. So I recommend you to check that information after our training. Hold on a second. The second one is something very useful that has been created in the last year, and is the Canvas training web page. Let me go there and show you. So this page will show you the different topics and video tutorials divided by topics. So you can become an expert using Canvas. So it shows you, for example, how to create a course in Canvas, how to modify and create a course lesson. So different topic divided by sections, quizzes, creating a course, anything that you need about Canvas. Some of these videos are short tutorials, like 5 minutes, 3 minutes video tutorials, just helping you with that specific topic. But also they have a very good resource in YouTube. Is the YouTube Academic Innovation channel, and here you will find even more videos showing you how to learn to use Canvas, and some of those are live training recordings that happened in the last year. So a good way to find what you are looking is going to the search bar here and just type in, for example, if you want a video that shows you how to weight grades, you can put here weight or grades, and it will show you all the videos that are available for you. And this is created in our platform, so it's created for TAMU users. Okay, so let's go to our training for today. So the first step is you need to decide how to move your to your Canvas course, how to make your move. And you can choose either to migrate content if you're planning to reuse content from past semesters, or you can probably decide to build from scratch if you want to. If you have some files in your computer and you want to start uploading that content in Canvas, you can do it as well. But be mindful that the Canvas shells courses only allow up to 1 GB file storage quota. That doesn't mean that you cannot upload large files. You can, but you cannot do it directly in Canvas. You need to use some integrations that we have in Canvas available for you to manage all those large files or videos or different multimedia content. So we are going to show you some of that information today and how to do it, but let's start with the first scenario, which is if you decide to migrate content from your eCampus course. The first recommendation is try to choose the most updated version of your course, because sometimes you can have courses from 17 spring, from summer 19, from fall 20, but try to choose the most updated version of your course, because you cannot migrate a student interaction. You cannot migrate, for example, submissions from your students. You only can migrate to Canvas what is content, what is files, quizzes, assignments. But so that is why it's so important that you don't lose your time just creating multiple packages of the same content just because it was in different semesters. That is optional, but we recommend not to do it, just pick one. Okay, so just to remind you, this presentation on each slide, it will have some training resources that you will find on the right side of this presentation. Those training resources are really good for you to reinforce your knowledge, and it will show you how what is the duration of those video tutorials, for example. This kind of training that we are going to show today, it's more about repetition. So don't feel frustrated if you cannot follow me with all the steps, or if you forget something after the training, because that is normal. But remember that you will have this training resource in case that you need to do, for example, do you say, oh, how can I export the package? Okay, I know that in the slide I will find a video that will show me how to do it, or I can go to the web page that the IT department recommended and I will find the information there. So just be mindful that we put, remember that we put this information for you here. Okay, so let's go to the real courses. I'm going to stop my video because I don't want to cover the information, but I will keep here. And let's go to eCampus. Okay, so the first scenario is to know what is the size of your course. What is the size of your eCampus course? I'm here in eCampus using an example course. And the first thing that I will tell you to do is just checking what is the size of your course. To do that, you need to go to the left side menu and scroll down until the bottom. When you find course management, please click the package and utilities option. And then go to the first option, which is export archive course. If we click here, on the right side of the screen will appear some options. So pick the first option, which is export package. When we click in export package, we will see the ID of the course and also two buttons. If we click in the first button that says calculate size, we will see the size of our current course. In this case that I'm showing here, this is a very an ideal example because it's a very small, it's a small course. It has small files and it will be very easy to migrate to Canvas. So in this case that my course is only 4 megabytes, 5 megabytes, so it's less than 800 megabytes, I can just start and create my package to export to Canvas. So the very first step is just checking if your course is less than 800 megabytes or is more than 800 megabytes, because depending on that, you will need to do certain things. If it's less than 800 megabytes, let's go and create our export package. So I'm going to show you how to create it. So here, where it says select course materials, you will see all the content links that you have on the left side menu of your course. It is different depending on courses because this is totally customizable. So in my case, I created some content areas that has certain names, like your journey starts here, introduction, but probably you will have only one that says content, or you will have some other names. But what I want you to pay attention here is that the first section that you will see here, it contains all the content areas where you have files, you have tests, you have assignments, you have different kind of content. So in this case, that my course is very small, I'm going to choose all the content. However, because I organize my content, I have my content organized by like type of information, I will say I don't want to migrate online lecture recordings because this is FERPA protected. So I don't want students from other courses to see the lecture recordings that happen in previous semesters. So in this case, that I have my online lecture recordings organized in this like kind of folder, I won't migrate that. But if you migrate it, you can just remove it when you go to Canvas. After you import this content to Canvas, you can also delete the information that you don't need. Or you can choose just not to migrate it. Okay, so some content won't migrate to Canvas. And let me go really quick to one of our elements.tamu.edu make the move pages. And here you will see that content like, for example, rubrics, groups and group tools, third-party tools, wikis, blogs, and journals, they don't migrate to Canvas and need to be recreated. So in this case, I prefer not to migrate that content. But if you migrate it, it doesn't matter because it's not going to appear. Okay, so I'm not going to migrate adaptive release rules because I need to put new dates. Blogs doesn't migrate. Calendars, I don't need an old calendar. Contacts, I don't need contents. So I'm going to choose to check whatever I'm going to need. For example, the discussion board, but only the forum, not the starter post. Announcement is something optional if you want to migrate it, but I would say that announcement is very related to the current term. For example, hey, students, please use this Zoom link for the lab course for this semester. So that is very like, is part of the current course. So I will say that create new announcements for your students and don't migrate all announcements because it could be confusing for your new students. You can migrate the Grace Cerner, journals that will migrate, rubrics, you can migrate it, but you will need to recreate it. The settings, you don't need the settings for the eCampus package, but this is very important. For example, the test, surveys, and polls, you need to include this if you want to migrate your test to your course. Okay, so after you are done, you click submit. And because this is a very small course, it won't take longer to create the package. So you will receive an email from Blackboard saying, hey, your package is ready to download. So in this case, after I receive the email, I need to refresh the page and it's going to appear. Just if you have other packages that have been created before, just pay attention to the date and time, so you will know what is the package that you just created. Okay, so let's click under the this file that I just created, And if you click there, if you are using Chrome, it's going to show on the bottom of the screen, you will see the file that was downloaded. Usually it goes to your downloads folder in your computer. It will appear there. If you are using, for example, Firefox, it will appear on the top of your screen, but it will go to the same location to your downloads. So as we can see here, it's less than 1 megabyte. So it's a very small package. Okay, so now we have our package course that will be ready to export it to Canvas. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. And now what I'm going to show you is how to save this package as a backup, for example, in Microsoft OneDrive as a backup. Okay, so when you download this package, you can save it, you will have it in your local drive, as I showed you 1 moment ago. But you can also create a backup in Google Drive or in OneDrive. OneDrive is like the Google Drive version from Microsoft. So in this case, that is a new tool. I'm going to show you how to access your OneDrive. This is not a OneDrive training, but I'm going to show you just really quick how to access. So to access your Office 365 tools that include OneDrive, you need to go to office.com and just sign in with your Tamu account. With your Tamu account, it will give you access to your tools. In this case, I already have my password. I already did my dual authentication. So it will let me jump to my content. So Office 365 allows you to use online applications like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything. You can use it online. And also you can access Teams online. But what I really like about OneDrive, which is the Google Drive version of Microsoft, is that you have 5 terabytes of file storage quota. So you can store here a lot of information, and this information will be available anywhere for you to access. So in this case, I like to use OneDrive to save it as a backup. And when I move from my office home to to the campus, I access my files through OneDrive. So I have the same version. I have just one version of a document, and I can access from any computer. So for this training, I'm going to show you how to create a folder to upload your content package as a backup. So here on the top of the screen of OneDrive, you can hit new and then click in folder. And here you can create a folder with the name of your course. For example, if it was, I don't know, Mara 350, and then you create it. It will appear here, listed there. You click on the course, and here you could create more folders if you need it, or you can just start uploading your information. So in this case, I'm just going to upload the package that I just downloaded to my computer, which is from my course, is this one. So I upload it there. It's going to show me that it's uploading this content, and now it's there. Okay, so I have the backup of my course, and now I need to move it to Canvas. But before we do that, let's go to the second scenario. What happens if your content has more than 800 megabytes? So what happened there? How can I migrate my content? Okay, so here are some recommendations, and you will find some video tutorials on how to do all these kind of things. The first thing to have in mind is that you need to save a backup of your eCampus course content and have it there. If you want to just preserve a copy on the entire course as we did it before. But for example, if your course is 2 gigabytes, you can save a package and just save it as a backup in your OneDrive, Google Drive, or local drive. But to move it to Canvas, you need to decide what content you need to migrate, and that content needs to be less than 800 megabytes. Okay, so to do that, let's go back to our example in eCampus. This is another course that I have as a practice course, but in this course, if I go to Package and Utilities on the left side menu to the bottom, as I showed you before, and I go to Export an Archive course, and then I click in Export Package, and I see what is the size of my course. So I click Calculate Size. It's going to show me that this course, this is the second course, it has 1.45 gigabytes. So I cannot export it as it is to Canvas. I need to do something. So our recommendation is to start seeing what is causing this course to be so big, so large, to start identifying those files that I cannot migrate as a package to Canvas. So to do that, when you see that your course is larger than 800 megabytes, you can click in Manage Package Content. This Manage Package Content will show you all the files that you have in your course, not organized like you have it on the left side menu. It's just listed there. And if you click in Size, you can organize, after you see the folders here that are created by default, you can see the files that are from the largest to the smallest. So in this case, I can see that these MP4 files are causing this course to be very big, very large. So I will select, for example, in this case, we recommend you to check those files that I don't want to include in the migration package, because these files, I will need to upload it to OneDrive or Google Drive and link it to my course. But I cannot upload these files to Canvas because those are very are larger, and it will create that I run out of space. So our recommendation is just identify those big files, those large files in your eCampus course, and take it out from your package, from your migration package. And I'm going to show you what to do with these files later. So what I check here is not going to be included in my content package. So I'm going to remove any files that are larger than 50 megabytes. I'm going to do it. So I remove this 4 MP4 and this PPT that is 66 megabytes. And if I hit submit, now my package, as you can see here, is only 97.8 megabytes. So I can create, as I did it before, I can create my package. I'm not going to cover again how to create it because I already show it, but that will create a smaller package that I can migrate to Canvas. And then I need to manually download the larger files and do something else. Okay, so in this case, you will have a smaller package because you already removed these large files. I'm just repeating so you will know, okay? And then you hit submit. After you check what you want to migrate, you hit submit, and you will get the package to download to your computer. Now that you have your package downloaded to your computer. I'm going to show you because I did it yesterday, but I want to do it because it takes time. So in this case, it's only 217 megabytes. I downloaded the package yesterday, and I have it here in under my downloads. Okay, so I have already the package there, but I need to identify where are those MP4s and that PPT that I didn't migrate, so I can do it manually. So to do that, please go, if you know where that content is located in your course, you can go to the course and just download it from there. But the best way to do it is under the content collection. You will see the name of your course, like the ID of your course. In this case is the Pract 1. And if you organize by size, and again by size, okay, it will show me at the top of the screen, it will show me the largest files that I didn't migrate, because it's going to show all the largest files that you have. And because you already know what files are those, you can just select those files and download a package with that. Or you can just download it one by one. You can download for example, let me go back. Oh, sorry. This was an example. Okay, so you can download it one by one, or you can create a package. Okay, let me see if I can create a package here. So in this case, because those are large files, it will take a while. If you see this is like going around, that means that it's loading, and it will take a while to download my package. But what basically do is it creates a zip file that I can extract later, and I can go to my OneDrive and upload those files there. So let me show you an example. When you get the files, when you get those, for example, 5 large files, or as many as you can get there, you go to your OneDrive or your Google Drive, and you can start uploading that content in one of your new folders. So basically, it's downloading the large files to your computer and then uploading the same files to your OneDrive or Google Drive. And to upload it, it is the same as we saw before. Upload files. And if you have it already under your videos, or you have it here, for example, you can just click in the file that you want to upload and click open to download it. So as you can see here, the content package is just downloaded, but because it's very big, we won't see it in our example here. But what I did, I extracted the files that I downloaded from my eCampus course. I extracted the MP4 files and I uploaded to my OneDrive. So here now I have all the videos. Well, I don't have all the videos, but in this example, I uploaded 2 of those videos, so we can use it later. Okay, so let's go back to our content migration. So important, decide what content to migrate and manually download those large files that you need to put it in another place to later use it in your Canvas course, but you cannot include it as a Canvas migration package. Okay, and now let's go to how to upload or migrate your content to Canvas. I think the most challenging part is when you have a large a large course and you need to select what to migrate and what not to migrate. But let's go and see how to import a package to Canvas. So also in this slide, you will find a video tutorial about 2 minutes that will show you how to do it. And let me show you also how to do it here in our example. Okay, so under your courses, let me go, under your dashboard, you will find the courses that are upcoming. For example, if it's 21 summer and the name of your course, and also the fall courses will be available in 1 week, in about 1 week, you will have it listed here. So if I'm trying to import content to my summer course, I will pick the course. In this case, I think is this one. Let me see. I'm going to pick this course. Sorry that I don't have 21 summer courses. This is just a practice course that I use for this information. So let me check that this is an empty course. Yes, this is an empty course. You will see it is how you will see your summer and fall courses. It has just a template that is loaded. This template, it shows you like some good practices on how to organize your information, but this information is empty and you can just follow the example and you can get rid of the information that you don't need. So this is how you will see your course. So to import an eCampus package, you need to go to the left side menu settings. So left side menu settings of your Canvas course. This is the destination course. And then on the right side of your screen, you will see import course content. So let's click in import course content. And under the content type, because it's an eCampus is using Blackboard. Blackboard is the learning management system, is the platform. So it is a Blackboard export content type. So we will choose Blackboard 6789 export zip file. This is the content type that you will need to select when you have eCampus content packages that you want to import to your Canvas course. And in the source, you can choose the file. In this case, for example, under your downloads or wherever you have the package, you can select it from there. You can change the name before, if it's confusing, you can change the name of the package so you will know what is the package that you are importing. So you don't need to have it with the same name that you downloaded. In this case, for example, I put it as small because I know that this is a small package that where I remove the large MP4s. So in this case, I'm going to show you just the example with the small package that I use. If I click open, I just choose all content. But you can also select a specific content and choose from there what do you want to import. In this case, I'm going to show everything. I'm going to import everything. And then I hit import. That will create an uploading. You will see a little sign about that is queued and then that is running. This is because this is a small file, is not going to take more than 1 minute. But if you have, I don't know, 700 megabytes, if your package is 100 megabytes, 200 megabytes, probably will take longer. So you will need to be patient and just leave the page there. You can move and do other kind of stuff until this is done. When it is done, you will see something that says completed. So I will wait a little bit until it is complete so we can see what happened there. So let's give a few seconds to check what happened. But meanwhile, I want to show you what is the course that I'm trying to import into Canvas. So is this ITCP development course. And this ITCP development course has all this content area created on the left side menu. So when you import it to Canvas, and now it's completed, and it's saying that it has 2 issues, that it has a missing link. So let me remind you that the migration is not perfect, and that is why you will need to compare the content from the eCampus course to the Canvas course and manually try to do the adjustment. So in this case, I'm going to modules, because under modules, you will see the information that is migrated. So the instructor module, the student experiences, the week 1, it came with the template. So this is not from the migration, but what is below there, it comes from eCampus. So I start comparing, okay, I have a syllabus content area, and my syllabus content area has a file. So in my new courses, yes, I have a syllabus content area that has a PDF. I would recommend just checking the documents. Usually PDFs, Word documents, Excel, those migrate fine. So you don't need to worry. But it is good just to check content by content, like file by file, just seeing that everything looks correctly. Then I have a journey starts here area. And now you see here, introduction and some exams. This is a very small course, but it seems that everything migrated here correctly. But the recommendation is just going one by one and seeing that everything migrated correctly. Okay, so let's go to the second example, which is a little bit more complex. Okay, so for the second example, this is the second course that it was a large course, and I have a lot of content here. And I will see that in my second course, let me see here. This is another example that I already migrated last night because it will take longer. I cannot show it in a training session, but I migrated for you. So I migrated the big package from my other course here, and it will have all the sections that I have in this course. So welcome, record, module 1, module 2, module 3, exam assignments, blah, 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 blah. I have plenty of content areas there that migrated here. I have contracted some of those because I want to show you just one example. So I'm going to compare what migrated and what didn't migrate from my module 2, because I don't have time, for example, to show you one by one. But let's go to module 2 that has different type of items. And I'm going to show you what migrated and what it didn't. So in my module 2 in eCampus, I have 2 items that only has like a little bit of text. It's like a web page. So if I go there to Canvas, I will see that those 2 items migrated as a web page. So these are pages. Module 2 objectives, and it has the same text. So module 2 reading and materials, I assume that it has also the information that I had in eCampus. And yes, it migrated well. Okay, so let me close this one because it's creating me confusion. Okay, so back to eCampus, I have, this is a web link. This is a web link, Instructional Technology Services. Instructional Technology Services, yes, it migrated as a link, but if I open this link, what happened? Okay, so it's trying to open this link inside Canvas, and that is creating a security issue. So one of the recommendation, if you have external links that you migrated from eCampus, you will need to edit those links. So you go to the right side of the link under modules on the 3 vertical dots, and you click edit. And when you click edit, you will see an option that says load in a new tab. If you click there and you try to open again this external link, it won't show the error that it was showing before, because it's going to open a new tab to access that external link. So that is one recommendation. External links, you will need to edit it and check the box that says loading a new tab, so you won't see the error when you try to open it inside Canvas. Okay, so let's go to the next. So here I have a Turnitin assignment in eCampus. It says hypothesis generation and background research. Let's see, I don't see it here. And if I go to the left side menu in Canvas and I go to assignments, and I should try to check if it migrated to assignments. So let's remember the name. It's hypothesis generation and background research. Okay, so here under my assignments, no. So I checked yesterday. I have a lot of here, but it should be in one called Turnitin assignments. Sorry if you get, okay, no, I don't see it. Turnitin assignment is empty, so it didn't migrate. So be aware that some of the Turnitin assignments won't migrate, so you will need to create it again. And even if the assignment migrated, it's not going to be a Turnitin assignment. You need to manually edit the assignment to require to use Turnitin. So it's not compatible with Turnitin assignments, but you can create it here again and put the Turnitin requirement in Canvas. Just some heads up, because I know a lot of professors use Turnitin assignments, so you will need to recreate those assignments in your Canvas course. Okay, so next items are MP4s. So the MP4s, and Ambulositus, closed captioning something. Oh, I don't see it under module 2. So that means that it didn't migrate? I don't know. So I need to go, if it's a video, it's a small video, but I need to go to the left side menu of Canvas, or under files. It will display all the files that have been migrated to this course. Remember that modules is like a image of what is in your course, but it's not the actual file. It is like a link, an internal link to the different elements that you have in Canvas, like pages, like files, like assignments, like tests. But the real information is stored depending on the type of the information. If it's a file, it's under files. But it's not visible to students. If it's an assignment, it's under assignments. But in modules, those are links to that information that exists in your course. So in this case that I had in eCampus, some MP4, some small MP4 that I migrated to Canvas, it won't appear under my modules, but it will appear under my files, are here under my files. So to make it visible for the student under modules, I need to go to my, oh, this is too big, to my, let me go to my module 2. So under module 2, I'm going to create a link to that MP4 that didn't show up here, but it is in my course. So I click plus, I go to file. When I say add, I add a file, but I don't need to upload that file because it's already in my course, but it's not visible. So I wait a little bit until it loads all the files that are here, and it will appear when you migrate it, it will appear under at the top of the list. So it's here, the closed captioning. And I say, okay, let me one level of indentation if you want, and add. And it will appear at the end of your module 2, and you can organize it wherever you want to put it. So that is also another recommendation. MP4 files will appear under your files, but not in your modules. And you need to create the link. Okay, so here we have a document, our document that is chapter 16. Yes, it opens. We see a document. Yeah, it opened well, so I don't need to do anything there. And but here I have an item that has like five files, tutorials files, and I will see that here only brought the first file. So it didn't show all the 5 files because it's not compatible as it is in eCampus. However, when you have one item that has several attached files in your eCampus, it's going to show just one, but the other files will be also under the file section in your Canvas course on the left side menu. So you will need to do the same as we did with the MP4. You need to just bring those files to your modules. And when you click the plus button, you will see the different type of elements that you can add to your modules. You select file. And here you can, for example, look for the files that were, I think is one is, for example, setup gradebook in Canvas. Okay, so I need to look for setup here. So it's here, and I can add the item. Let me add it here. Okay, so now I have also this and so on. And remember that you have some videos that you didn't export it because it was very large. So in those cases, we remember that we uploaded those videos here in our OneDrive, Microsoft OneDrive, or in your Google Drive, so we can use it in your Canvas. So for those large videos that you have in eCampus and you couldn't export it because it was very large, you go to your Canvas course. You go to your Canvas course. I want to put it in module 2. So I'm going to click the plus button there, and I'm going to choose external tool. Why? Because I cannot upload it in my Canvas course because it's too large for doing that. So I need to choose it from my Google Drive or from my OneDrive. Wherever I put it on the cloud, I need to choose it from there. In this case, I'm going to show you the example of OneDrive. Because Google Drive, we have some tutorials that are already created showing you how to do it. And I like to use Microsoft OneDrive because it's already compatible with Word documents and with PowerPoint documents, so it is better. I will click Office 365. Office 365, and when I click Office 365, it's going to open my OneDrive account. And as you can see here under my files, it's going to display all the folders that I have in my OneDrive, in my Microsoft OneDrive. So those are the files that I have in my Microsoft OneDrive. And from here, I can select, for example, the folder where I have my videos. So I have one that it says video tutorials, and I can choose, for example, these two. Oh, okay, it's one by one. So you cannot choose 2 at the same time, one by one, and you attach the file. For example, this video is more than 300 megabytes. And when I add this item, it's going to appear here in my course as a link. So it's not taking any of the size of my course. It's just creating a link that is compatible, that is open to the students, to the users of this course. Is going to create a link to my video. So when the student opens the video, is going to appear there. Okay, so this is the example of what migrates and what doesn't migrate. So be careful about what do you need to, how to clean up your course. So this is the third step of our training today. And I'm going to pass really quick around here because I already show a comparison between eCampus and Canvas content. So some recommendations: please identify any missing item as we did, as I showed you one moment ago. Try to identify any missing item, so you can recreate it, or you can upload it again, or you can try to decide what to do to make it appear. Also, delete duplicated content or items that you don't need. I didn't show you here, but for example, under quizzes, sometimes if you import it from eCampus, sometimes you will have a lot of quizzes that you didn't use or you don't need. So you can delete it, whatever you don't need. For example, here I have, so many, but I don't need all those. And some of those are duplicated because I had it duplicated in my eCampus. So try to select the one that you are going to use. Other recommendation is try to customize your course homepage. There are some resources available that will show you videos that will show you how to manage Canvas, how to organize your template, your course navigation, reorder the modules, because this is not very intuitive for the students. Just seeing all this information listed here is too much for the students. So try to organize it and put some titles on what is this, like, is this the lecture? Is this the assignment? Is this, what is this? So try to create some test headers to organize your content. For example, this is lecture content, or however you want to call it. So for example, here I will have lecture content, but here I will have some assignments, and here I will have, try to organize your content and show a very clear navigation for your students. You need to adjust assignments. Try to check that the points are correct, to put new dates for release content and due dates. Try to see that the tests are correct, like the questions are showing the correct, are set up correctly. Organize those assignments. You need to weight assignments group if you desire. You need to verify the titles and instructions on some of the assignments, and test it. Try to test all the information that you migrate to Canvas. Try to test it and organize it for your new students, because as you can see here under assignments, probably some tests won't have a description. And even if you were using, for example, HonorLog or Respondus Lockdown Browser, probably you will have the name here, MAR2 12 test 2 requires Respondus Lockdown Browser, but that is not true. It only has the title, but it's not requiring Respondus. You need to go to Respondus Lockdown Browser on your left side menu and require that test requires the students to use Respondus Lockdown Browser. So it is not a perfect migration, but it will help you at least with the upload of some of the files. Okay, so finally, I'm going to show you something that is really, really quick. So how to combine sections and adding user to Canvas. We have the videos here. It's just 1 minute video that you can review later on how to merge a course, and the other is 1 minute 37 seconds on how to add additional roles. But I'm going to show you here really quick in life how to do it. So when you go to orca.tamu.edu, this is something that all faculty have access. You have access to this page, orca.tamu.edu, and you need to log in on the top right part of your screen. When you log in here with your Howdy credential, with your normal credentials that you use, if you need to request a combined course, you pick the second option, request combined course, and you will see here, I see all the courses because we have admin access, but you will see only your courses, your sections. So you can choose from here what are the sections that you want to combine. For example, English 104. If you want just one Canvas course that has one Canvas course of English 104 that has section 100, 102, 201, and 202, you can just click here, check all the boxes for the same course and the section, and click next. Don't worry if the professor is seeing this, I'm not going to do it, but I'm just showing the example. You can also include sections from another course that you have if you want, like combine courses that are from different course numbers. You can also, for example, add from another course where you are the instructor. As I said, it's only going to show the courses where you are the instructor. And then you click next. When you click next, before you submit it, I'm not going to submit it because this is an example, you can change the title. For example, here it's going to show only the first section, but try to put, for example, 100 and edit the title 102, 201, because this will be the combined course. So you can change the name here if you prefer. So it won't show only that is the section 100 when you know that it has 4 different sections. So try to change that. And then click submit, and that's all. That will create your combined course in Canvas. Okay, and the last thing that I want to show you today is how to add different users that will support you in Canvas. So the different users are TA lead, course designer, grade submitter, or grader. If you don't know what is the access that can have each of these roles, I invite you to go to this page, Canvas role page. And if you click there, you will see the difference between the roles and what they can access and what they cannot. Okay, so for enrollments, I go to the option that says enrollment, and I click at the bottom of the page. You will see a little button that says add enrollment. Click there and select the UIN of that student or TA or faculty that will help you with your course. You can select there, and then it will appear the name, the email, and you can select what role do you want to assign to that person. For example, it will be my course designer, and here you can select the section and it will appear the sections where that you have. For example, if you don't find it here, you can click in search section. It will show your courses sections, and you can just check the course sections where you want these persons to be your course designer. So let me show an example. So if I choose these 2 sections, I select and I have the name here, I save it, and that will add this person to the Canvas course, but it will be it will show if the user still needs to complete the FERPA training and the FERPA training and the information technology training. So those are 2 required trainings that they need to complete before they can be they can have access to Canvas. So you will see like a pending action that is training required, and until this person completes the training, that person will have access to Canvas. Okay, so that was all what I wanted to show you today. I'm going to stop the recording, and if you want to stay for a Q&A session, I invite you to stay. So thank you so much for spending this time with us and learning how to migrate your courses. And just let me stop the recording.